Hello, everybody, and welcome to part 2 of This Is Not a Podcast. And it's still not a podcast. Um, Last time we were talking about businesses and we ended it on a note of education. So I was saying that education is a habit of inquiry of the abstract. And now let's see if I can justify that. So, we understand because of Aristotle that we can talk about commonality between phenomena that we understand through our senses, right? So we have experiences of eating things, and therefore we can generalize about food as an abstract concept. And then we could take food and drink, and we could talk about different, nutrition sources, and we can talk about different things that require nutrition sources, and we could talk about life, and we can continue to do this until we've basically encompassed everything that we know, and that is what Plato would call the form of the good, right? And if you're a Neoplatonist, you'd call that the one, and if you're an Augustinian, you would call that basically God. And that's a metaphysical discussion. But rather than go up the minutia of metaphysics, I just want to lay out that this exercise of abstracting is something that can be done at any point. And what I would say is that in our conversations, we shouldn't focus so much on the sensory experience, but we should be focusing on the abstraction to find commonalities between our shared experiences. And the more you are intimate with somebody, the more you know about their experiences, the easier it's going to be to abstract, and the higher up you will be able to abstract. So the more important conversations should be had with people that you share more with in terms of sharing information with, but also sharing life experiences with. The second side of this, I believe, is the challenges of experiencing things. So human beings are not creatures that very tidily receive information and then process it, and then it becomes usable data. We're very complex, and that in itself is worth investigating. And that nowadays has really become the question of mental health, right? And I think it's a worthwhile endeavor to think about how you're doing things in a healthy way. Naturally, that begs the question of what does it mean to do things in a healthy way? And again, that's a type of abstraction that one can go up. What I would say is that at least knowing that something is healthy versus unhealthy does not seem to be something that is controversial, or controversial to the point that a discussion becomes virtually impossible. So I think that on that front, most people share common views or can be led to a great deal of commonality. And what we gain from the discussion of doing things in a healthy way is the discussion of what it means to be a healthy and productive human being. So once we've kind of taken care of ourselves, we're more likely to see that we have some sort of obligation towards other people. And on the Aristotelian side of this, we would say that the end goal of everything seems to be politics, right? So dealing with the city. On a less Aristotelian side of things, we would say that human beings are inherently social. We really do seem to be social, and that we need to be looking out for one another. So not just in the sense of conversation, but in the sense of what we do that somehow helps um, other people. So the things that we create, also the things that we destroy, and that is going to help us move towards the conversation of labor. So that's going to be something that we'll tackle later on. What I do want to tackle next time, if at all possible, is the discussion of formal education. So schools and universities and all that. And that's going to take a long time to unpack. But hopefully next time we'll just start off with what's the difference between conversation. So this thing about forms and abstracting, and then what you do at school, and then we'll get into the nasty stuff later on. So thanks for listening, and again, remember that you are perfectly entitled to tell me that I am full of crap. I very much look forward to that, and let's keep the discussion going. So as always, thank you and take care.